I'm now speaking with Dr. Enno Ludtke, who is a senior consultant at Lufthansa Consulting. You did a great presentation today.
Thank you.
And you put forward a very compelling issue, which was how technology is changing rapidly outside of the flight deck. But when an airplane gets delivered, its flight deck technology is pretty much set. And as you pointed out, the airline's going to potentially live with this technology for 20 years. It's not like you can update and change flight computers and other technologies on the flight deck easily, whereas outside of the flight deck, an example, of course, as you brought up, was EFBs and iPads, that changes rapidly. How does an airline deal with this very difficult challenge?
Basically, there's three ways to deal with it. One is to bring this new technology on board the aircraft,
yes,
which can either be separate, it's like the iPad just in the pilot's hand, or somewhere in a holding bracket somewhere installed, or it's even integrating it more and more into the aircraft technology. So this is a more complicated way to deal with it, and it's very fleet dependent. So you will definitely have a variety over your fleet. Some more modern aircraft, some more sophisticated aircraft models are capable for a higher degree of integration. Others are. Lufthansa, for example, went through this way that we've got a unified standard among all pilots' work pads that used to be notebooks. We're now in the phase of investigating. We also switched to tablet computers instead. But those notebooks computers were set in a docking station on board with electricity connection and shock safes and whatever, and had an external touch display close to the pilot's seat, so they were basically able to use this as an EFB, and you can now easily change the computing power behind it. The other way is to enforce the ground-based computing power, and that's the other way we're going with Lufthansa, because we've got much more IT available there. It's cheaper, we've got more manpower there as well. It's not all IT, it's also a huge amount of knowledge and experience how to plan a flight. And the big issue behind it is not only having it either on board or on ground, it's bringing it together. There comes connectivity into the game. And this is what we're heavily working on, because the current connectivity between ground-based and onboard IT is quite limited due to the data transmission used. We're working on it, increasing it, and rather having it more and more together. So the ground-based processes is much more linked with the onboard processes in future.
So that, of course, the advantage Lufthansa has over its competitors really is Flynet. You were a pioneer with phone connection, and now, of course, with Flynet. This helps you, I guess, to have an airline that is able to extract better value from, shall we say, dating technology on the flight deck, but also be able to exploit external new technologies that are outside the flight deck, then bring that technology in. Is that correct?
Flynet is definitely part of, but only a part of new technologies we're applying to have better connections between ground-based IT, ground-based computing, ground-based calculations towards the onboard IT. It's not only Flynet, it's also other technologies.
And do you see things like ACARs, which are narrowband, competing down the road, or does it increasingly the communications move to the broadband technology like Flynet?
It's at the moment we're still with these narrowband technologies, and more investigating how they can either be followed or just accomplished by the new technologies which go more towards broadband. Broadband between aircraft and ground isn't, of course, what we know here as ADSL, VDSL, and whatever. But it still helps a lot, and the amount of data will significantly increase which we can transfer, and the amount of information we can provide to the pilots therefore.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.